Hello and welcome to Docking Bay 77 podcast. I'm Robert, and tonight I'm going to be giving you my list of the top 7 TV shows from the 70s. I picked this in part because I am the only member of our podcast gang that was actually old enough to remember television from that era. At any rate, um, here we go. My top 7. Number 7, MASH. From CBS, 11 seasons, ironically running 8 years longer than the actual Korean War itself that it is based on. This series was a Korean War comedy drama, began more comedic, gradually grew more dramatic as the years rolled on, based on the 1970 Robert Altman film and Richard Hooker's book from a couple years before that. This show is interesting in that it was a long-running show, but it had a lot of cast replacements. Alan Alda as Hawkeye and Loretta Swit as Hot Lips were the only two principal characters who were throughout the entire run. Everyone else got replaced as it ran along. Um, Although the characters of Father Mulcahy and Klinger recurred from across the series, but they weren't in every episode. This show was vastly important. It had over 100 Emmy nominations. It won 14. The finale set the record for the most watched TV episode of all time until 27 years later for Super Bowl 2010. It did engender 2 spin-offs, After MASH, meh, and Trapper John MD, which wasn't a big hit, but it did run for several years. And Trapper John MD, we're going to get our obligatory Broadway reference out of the way early. Cheers. Was the first major appearance of Brian Stokes Mitchell, later Tony Award winner and Broadway legend. Why did I choose MASH? Well, culturally, it was very important, as all those viewers and awards attest to. And especially coming out of the Vietnam War, it was a show that was funny, but also had something to say and was sort of timely without directly commenting on the war we were just in. Why was it number 7 on my list and not a little bit higher? It partly I was informed by the fact that this is the only one of the series I'm going to name that I don't have on physical media, much as I enjoyed it. All righty, number 6, Wonder Woman. All right, this began as a backdoor pilot in 1975. They did a film. It ran for 3 seasons, although I only like first season. It starred Linda Carter as the character from the DC Comics. You all know her. It had a terrific theme song, which I just butchered, but it's fun to watch. The first season was set in the 1940s and was fantastic. The 2 additional seasons it ran, they jumped it up to the modern day times, and I did not think it was as good, but they're still fun. Fun guest stars, Cloris Leachman played Wonder Woman's mom in the film and some of the early episodes. And then later, Carolyn Jones, Morticia Adams, took over in the role of her mom. Fun to see her again. And the very young Deborah Winger appeared as Wonder Girl. Okay. Lyle Wagner from The Carol Burnett Show was Steve Trevor in the World War II era series. And then Steve Trevor Jr. in the 70s version. Both times he's as wooden as a stick, but he was, perfect for this campy series. I chose it because it was campy, it was silly, it was fun. And I mean, let's talk about the iconic costume spin. Unbelievable. Anyway, number 5, The Bob Newhart Show. CBS, 6 seasons, Saturday nights. You're going to be hearing CBS and Saturday nights a lot. It was a golden era. In this one, Bob played a psychiatrist, and Suzanne Plachette played his wife, Emily, surrounded by his co-workers, his patients, and their friends and neighbors. Weirdly, this show did not win a single Emmy Award despite all its nominations, but it's still really fun to watch now, especially for some of the guest stars. Terry Garr, Howard Hessman, Henry Winkler, all of them in early roles showed up on this series. Why did I choose it? It is still super funny, just like laugh out loud funny all the time. It also was the first series that gave us the concept of a drinking game with, hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Of course, the hilarity of the fact that my name was Bob, and still is to some, made it even funnier. At any rate, the show is also influential in that it was sort of super meta. After it was off the air, characters recurred from this series all over. Most famously, of course, in Newhart, a later sitcom of his, in that finale, which was one of the great moments of television by most accountings. But also they showed up in Murphy Brown, St. Elsewhere, Alf, even The Simpsons. So a show that lives on, not just in my memory, but in lots of other shows as well. The original Bob Newhart show. Get it on physical media. Number four, what if Columbo and Jessica Fletcher had had a love child? Well, it would be Ellery Queen. This show was developed by William Levinson and Richard Link, based on the Ellery Queen books. They were the same people who gave us both Columbo and Murder, She Wrote. And like those, it was a whodunit. This one, though, also set in the 1940s, with Jim Hutton, Tim's dad, as Ellery Queen himself. It ran on NBC for only one season, alas, on Thursday nights from 75 to 76. It also had a pilot film like Wonder Woman did. That's sort of a thing of the times. Um, it did not do great in the ratings. It was opposite those blockbusters, The $6 Million Man and Sonny and Cher. Yes, kids, that's what TV was like in those days. It has a great theme song as well. It's not the reason I picked all these, but it helps if they've got one. This one was by film legend Elmer Bernstein, who started doing film scores with The Ten Commandments and To Kill a Mockingbird and was still working up through Animal House and Ghostbusters. Great jazzy tune he put together for this one. What was fun about Ellery Queen, besides the kind of the 40s setting, and the hilarious playing of Hutton and David Wayne as his father and John Hillerman in a fun recurring role. But the gimmick was at the end of every episode, Ellery would break the fourth wall. And he would literally turn to the audience and say, well, you have all the clues. Did you notice the parrot? And did you notice the broken window? And he would rattle off these clues. Then they'd go to a commercial and then they'd come back and then they would solve it. And you could sit there and either go, oh, I totally got that. Or be like, what? I thought the parrot was... Anyway, I chose this partly because the 70s was such a great era for TV movies. We had the NBC Mystery Movie Nights. We had Kojak. We had Starsky and Hutch. It was just all kinds of mysteries on. And this was one of my favorites. Another 70s craze, it sort of followed, like Love Boat and Fantasy Island, it were around at the same time, chock a block full of guest stars. A lot of them were like older, kind of borderline washed up movie stars and B-list TV actors and things. Every episode is crammed full of faces you'll recognize, or maybe your folks will recognize. And it also reflected that 70s nostalgia craze that was going around. So much of the 70s, in film and fashion, everybody was throwing back to the 20s, like The Great Gatsby with Redford, and the 1940s with Bette Midler and her Andrews Sisters knockoffs. And there was a big nostalgia feeling through the 70s. And as you can see, several of my shows capitalized on that and went back to an earlier era. All righty. Number three. What can I say? It's the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Muppetational. Yes, I mean The Muppet Show. 5 seasons, 1976 to 1981 in syndication. It wasn't on CBS on Saturday night. It won 21 Emmy nods, or had 21 Emmy nods. It did win 4. It got a Peabody Award, which is very posh. Why did I choose this one? Well, I mean, I have always been a Muppets and Jim Henson fan since Sesame Street and beyond. And this, I think, was their purest form. The Muppets were the most Muppety. Is that a word? Yeah, it is now. They were the most Muppety on The Muppet Show. It really was the best distillation of what they do so well. And the show, I mean, again, going back to guest stars, Rudolph Nureyev all the way to Johnny Cash, even Glenda Jackson, who's one of my favorite serious actresses and not really known for her lowbrow shenanigans. She appeared as a pirate. Hilarious. Sadly, seasons 1 through 4 never got released on physical media. Shame, shame, shame. But you can watch them all on Disney Plus, all 5 seasons. However, some have been edited because of music rights, so just be aware of that. One more reason to get the actual DVDs, besides the fun flocking on the front you get for the different characters. Great bonus features, specials, pilots, all kinds of bonus features you can dive into on your DVD. Number 2, The Carol Burnett Show. Yay! It's on CBS Saturday nights. 11 seasons, got 25 Emmy wins out of 70 nominations. The entire supporting cast won multiple Emmys for this series. And of course, Carol got a bunch too. Another show that had a who's who of guest stars from Jimmy Stewart to Steve Martin. everybody was clamoring to be on the show. It was a big hit. It actually had one spin-off as well, Mama's Family, where they took the characters from that skit, and Vicki Lawrence and company ran off with that one. Um, every week, satires of different movies, current events, funny little skits, musical numbers, production numbers. Um, Probably best known anymore, best remembered for their Gone with the Wind parody, Went with the Wind, that got the longest recorded laugh on television up till that time. I don't know if it's been broken. I think the audience lasts for like 2.5 minutes at a sight gag. And in fact, the address in question, spoiler, is in the Smithsonian now. So that's how important this show was. Why did I choose it? I love variety shows, and the 70s was chock-a-block with them. You had Sonny and Cher, as I mentioned, Flip Wilson, the Smothers Brothers were all on at that time, channel to channel, network to network, singing, dancing, skits, everything. It was great fun. And I've always loved Carol Burnett, always, always. And I want to mention what a good singer she was. She sings a lot on this show too, and hilarious as she is, she actually had a great singing voice. And it's still watchable. It holds up really well. Honorable mentions. Masterpiece Theater didn't make the cut because of its anthology format. It was lots of different shows, but it did debut in 1971, and I know during the 70s I was hooked on I, Claudius and Upstairs, Downstairs, the sort of precursor now to Downton, and Elizabeth R. with Glenda Jackson. It was like must-see TV on some of their episodes. So that one was considered. Laugh-In on NBC, another variety show, skits, sight gags, zingers, very hip, very, very hip. Consequently, very dated now. It is funny, and it was a springboard for a lot of great careers like Goldie Hawn and Lily Tomlin. But the episodes are just so dated that they don't hold up really well now on watching. But they're still fun. And I also briefly considered Laverne and Shirley, which was on ABC. I much preferred it to Happy Days, which was the big hit. Laverne and Shirley was kind of the lesser of the two, but it was a fun show, but it did not make the cut either because it was just super uneven. Episodes would be really funny or they would just be lame and kind of cringe. So sorry, Laverne, sorry, Shirley. So when I forgot to show you Carol Burnett, there she is. DVDs on this are complex. They're hard to get a hold of because they've been released in a really haphazard fashion. There's not a definitive way to watch them, but find them if you can. All right, enough sidestepping. Number one, The Mary Tyler Moore Show. This sitcom was groundbreaking in its day. Mary was single. She was a career woman. They even had a gay character in 1973 that was not the butt of the joke. Wow. And it was on CBS on Saturday nights for 7 seasons. It won 29 Emmy Awards during its run. It was a record until Frasier tied it and then broke it in the 2000s. Like Carol Burnett Show, all of the principals won multiple Emmy Awards, with the exception of poor Murray. But I guess, he had Love Boat to look forward to, so I can't feel too bad about Gavin MacLeod. The series is epic. I mean, it is on so many lists. Chuckles Bites the Dust, that episode was considered #1 TV episode of all time by TV Guide. Entertainment Weekly cites her epic hat toss, as she does during the credits, as the #2 television memory moment. Rolling Stone put it in their top 10 of TV shows. Why did I choose it? It's still one that I binge all the time. It is so funny. And it also, tracking with another kind of 70s trend, had a lot of spin-offs. Rhoda had a spin-off. Phyllis had a spin-off. Lou Grant had a spin-off. Norman Lear, who you'll notice I did not mention, his shows had lots of spin-offs as well. I said it was a 70s thing. He did All in the Family, which led to Good Times and Maude and the Jeffersons. Like Laugh-In, his shows were really funny. I watched them all the time when they were on, but they just are very dated and of their time and don't hold up as well as Mary Tyler Moore Show does. So sorry, Norman. And finally, I picked this show because the characters of Phyllis, played by Cloris Leachman, and Sue Ann Niven, played by Betty White, are master classes in comedy. There's a lovely scene in one of the first episodes where Leachman is able to get what basically is about 5 lines of dialogue and stretches it out into laugh after laugh after laugh with her physical business and the stuff she does. It is such a fun show. I can't recommend it enough. Those are my top 7 shows from the 1970s. What were yours? We'd love to know. And remember, physical media is always better than streaming. See you soon.